the main focus of the Judicial Council when I was chair was creating more judgeships by population. I mean, that was negotiating who got and who didn't get, and what circuits and this circuit and all that. That was the main thing. There was no pandemic like when Justice Melton was chief. Although the court under my direction, but that was the Supreme Court, did put together the pandemic desk book, and I did name Chief Justice Melton as head of putting that together. He had been put in charge of the note, to coming up with the protocol, because he was the youngest justice and nobody else, pandemic, what is pandemic? Come on, so it was kind of like, let Harold do it. And that's when you just know there is a God, there must be. Because then he ends up Chief Justice during the pandemic, and he helped put together, led the way for the pandemic desk book, which the court system used. I mean, that you just couldn't, get a better story than that. By the time I got on the court, it had started to really evolve. There are more young people now, more people of color, definitely a lot more women were beginning to come on the bench. So it was that phenomenon, but it was still dominated by older white guys. Okay. And I was chair of the Judicial Council. You should just go back and look at some of the pictures. I just remember this morning, Justice Fletcher, when he handed me the gavel, although we didn't have a gavel, I remember him telling the other members of the Judicial Council, most of whom were much older. Remember, I was pretty young at that time. I went on the court at 36, so I was 49 or 50. I remember Justice Fletcher telling them, this would be called mansplaining in today's time, but telling them, she's all right, she's ready to lead, which, had to be done. And I love Justice, but probably had to be done. And the fact that the Judicial Council allowed me to lead as an African-American woman who's much younger, pulled together, we all work together. I think the Judicial Council's hitting it right. We got through. The pandemic is an excellent example of why I think the Judicial Council was getting everything right. But if you just watch the way the court system came together in the last 2 or 3 years during the pandemic and worked together, but you can't get any better than that. I think it was the one part of state government or government in general that, we hit the ground running. I mean, we were ready to go. So I have no complaints. None.